friends. It's Crystalline Bell here, and I want to talk to you about intuition. So, I won. So somehow I went to Las Vegas and ended up with $1,800 in my wallet. I only started off with 500, and I thought that I had won 1,000, but I think I won more. I love it. So, so, what does Vegas and intuition have in common? Well, I was walking um, down the street in Paris. I was at the Paris casino, and I had been playing at another casino, and I had lost. And I'm like, all right, I'm out of this casino. It does not feel good here. It just felt funky. But you know, when you're gambling a lot, it feels funky. So I'll talk to you about gambling. I'll talk to you about gambling sometime, but not in this video. Yes, in this video, but not about how to gamble in this video. But so I was walking down the little corridor, and I was with my friend, and we were on our way to get some dinner. And I remember looking over, and I saw a dealer standing at a table, and I just had a feeling of yes, it was just so affirmative. I felt open. I felt like there was warmth coming from the dealer. I just felt that like that's where I should be. So I went over to the table and I sat down to play, and I proceeded to play very well. Anyway, so like I said, I won a whole bunch of money. But the point of this story is not really to talk about gambling, believe it or not. I just use that as an example of a moment when I used my intuition and without realizing what I was doing. I use my intuition all the time. I'm always consciously engaging another part of myself, meaning not my thinking, rational brain. I'm much more involved in my heart and how I feel than in my mind and what I think. So, what I want to do during this video is give you just 5 quick ways that you can actually start to practice getting more into your heart and out of your mind. So, on Sunday, September 20th and Sunday, September 27th, I'm going to be offering a 2-part class called Intuition Boot Camp. And for this 2-week period, we're going to be focusing on intuition, how to build it, how to use it, how to access it, how to quiet your mind, how to unlock the prison that your mind locks around your intuition, how to trust yourself, how to act from inspired action. All of these things are things that we're going to be discussing in the class on Sunday, September 20th and Sunday, September 27th. If you want more information about that class, you can go to my website, www.crystallinebell.com/intuition bootcamp no, sorry. Ooh, wrong. crystallinebell.com/intuition boot camp. Anyway, I'll put a link to the video in the note around the video here. Anyway, so what I want to do is just give you some easy tips that you can follow to help practice getting into your intuition. Now, I say practice because a lot of people think that like spirituality is something you just get. They don't understand that it's something that you actually have to practice every single day, whenever you want. I personally practice it every single moment that I can remember. There are times when I don't remember, like when something triggers me and I get really mad and I'm just like, roar! I'm like, "Arr!" Ooh, there ain't no kind of heart stuff going on up in here, you know. It's all about like what's happening in my mind, and my ego feels hurt, and you know, all this kind of stuff that happened in the past, and this drama. So, what I want you to do though is to consider that maybe intuition is something that you can practice at certain times of the day. Like you practice going to the gym and working out, you practice yoga, you have running or whatever, you can add in a regular intuition building practice. And so let me start off by giving you some of the tips. The very first thing that you can do when you're practicing intuition is to quiet your mind. So I want you just to take a quick moment right now and to think about nothing. Did you do it? Did your mind quiet? I am I've been practicing thinking about nothing for a long time, and what I've realized is that thinking about nothing is merely thinking about nothing one moment at a time, or thinking about nothing for as long as you can think about nothing, and then a thought comes in, and then you let that thought pass, and then you think about nothing again. So it's actually kind of simple. Of course, people think that it's all about being very zen and very much like, um, nothing. I'm thinking about nothing right now, except nothing. Nothing is, yeah. No, it can really be a series of moments of emptying your mind. I sometimes like to imagine that there's a little dot right here at my third eye. And right now, my eyes are closed, but my eyes are kind of like rolling up to my third eye. And I'm imagining that dot. And then as I inhale, the dot is expanding. And as I exhale, the dot is collapsing. And you might think, well, that's not thinking about nothing. But it has the same effect on your body and your mind. So when you are thinking about a dot or you're counting. So for example, when I first learned how to do Zen meditation, the Buddhists that I was working with, taught me how to count using my breath. So it was breathing in and breathing out. And it was just a simple count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very simple, very easy, and really mind-blowingly pleasant. So that's the first thing you need to do whenever you are wanting to tap into your intuition on a conscious level. Quiet your mind. The next thing that you want to do is to make sure that you feel your feelings. Now, we live in a society, that is, if you live in my country, in my city in particular, I live in the Los Angeles area. And if you are accustomed to thinking, if you kind of pride yourself on being really rational and being really sharp in your mind and being able to think things through and to stay present in your mind while you're thinking, rationalizing and thinking, then this might be something that's actually kind of foreign to you. And the idea is to feel your feelings. So feeling your feelings means that you don't suppress your feelings, you don't control your feelings, and you don't talk about your feelings, and you don't analyze your feelings. You simply feel them and you allow them to be. So let's do that together. Right now, let's just pause and then feel how we feel. Now, for that moment, I actually felt very peaceful. So the way I felt was peaceful. But my mind, I observed that my mind was like, oh gosh, it would be so fun to like see someone right now and to know what they're feeling and to actually reach out my hand and say, hey, what are you feeling? Did you feel that? How do you feel? So I had two things that were going on, and this is what happens very often. You are feeling your feelings, or you're being present, or you're being quiet, but your mind is going off doing something else. It's having its own kind of like adventure up there, like, oh, who's listening? Are they feeling themselves? Are they getting frustrated? Are they feeling elated? I wonder if they're feeling sad. There's all sorts of stuff that could be going on in your mind. The key, though, is to remember who you are. You are actually not your mind. You're the consciousness that's observing your mind. So for me, that moment of feeling my feelings was about feeling the peace of the moment, just sitting here making this video and observing how my mind was going off, telling its own story and getting caught up in stuff. And it's good to remember that at any given moment, you can identify with your mind that's telling some kind of story, or you can identify with that feeling or that consciousness that's observing your mind. That's a side note, and that's something that we'll talk about more in the intuition class. But for right now, another thing that you can do to get in touch with your intuition is to take the time to listen. Now, this is kind of a really interesting idea because we are very accustomed to having to get answers really quick. We want answers to come quickly from other people, and we want ourselves to deliver answers very quick. And it's not really fair, it's not really appropriate, and we just don't work that fast. Our intuition is always there, it's always ready, but in order to quiet your mind and to actually get into your intuition, you need a little bit of time. Sometimes you need to be able to pause and take like 2 or 3 deep breaths just to kind of shut out everything that's going on and to come to this moment and say, wait, okay. It's a process, and you have to give yourself time. So that's the third thing you need, some time to listen to your own intuition. Now, the fourth thing that you're going to need to do, and this is probably the most important thing, it's to trust that you're actually hearing your intuition and that whether you're hearing your intuition or not, you're actually okay, right? Trust is really, really hard. So I like to suggest that you start with small steps, do the best that you can. Trusting yourself is a tall order because we've been kind of really taught, brainwashed into thinking that we're not trustworthy, that our judgments are not worthwhile. And to be honest with you, gosh, who really knows better about you and knows what's better for you than you? Even as a personal empowerment coach, that's what I do all day long. I work with people, and I don't ever think that I know better than they do. I've got things that will help challenge them, and that might be part of my job to help challenge them to thinking differently, to help them, maybe playing the devil's advocate, but also more than anything, giving them some really different ways of looking at things so that they can push out of their comfort zones. But it's never that I know better, right? Because they're on their own path. You're on your own path. And your life, every moment, every decision is an opportunity for you to expand source energy, to be powerful, to be a powerful expression of source energy, and to own your own decisions. That's your privilege. So, okay, the fifth things you're going to, actually, wait, there's one more note that I had. If you aren't comfortable trusting your own intuition, I personally suggest that you pick up a pack of like oracle cards or angel cards or tarot cards. Oracle cards and angel cards are really easy to read. You don't even need to have any kind of skill. Tarot is a little bit different because it has a lot of symbolism and there's all sorts of, different like spreads you can do. So maybe you want like a class if you're going to do tarot cards. But oracle cards, you need to just pick up one card and read what it says, And instead of saying that the cards are giving you information, what you start to understand as you read cards is that you're in a dialogue with yourself, with your higher mind, with your spirit guides. As you ask a question, I always suggest, even when I'm doing a live reading, private one-on-one, I always say, think about what the answer is. What do you think the answer is? What do you feel that the answer is? And then that allows the person to really kind of get into their own intuition and then pull the card, then get their reading from a place of like, all right, I think I do know what this is. And then you get an affirmation. Very often you get an affirmation, or maybe you get something that helps you to think differently or to get out of your comfort zone. All right, so the fifth and the last tip I'm going to give you is that you should act on your inspired impulses. So sometimes, and I did a really long trip around the world last year, and I really enjoyed every moment of it. It was really powerful. It was hard, but it was so powerful and so rich with so many different experiences that I just felt so blessed, even at the times when it was really challenging. But one of the things that I noticed about myself was that I became very feminine, and I didn't take a lot of action last year. I felt like it was really important that I feel, and be, and I didn't do a lot of doing. So the thing that I learned, though, is that life is great when you're balanced. So you do some feeling, you do some being, you do some doing. When we're doing, we are not in our power. We're out of balance. Likewise, when we're just being, we're out of balance. So to find a great balance between the two, I like to practice, and there's that word again, practice being some and doing some. So when I was in Vegas and I won that money, I was doing at first, right? Started off doing, and not really feeling. I just sat down at a table and started playing, and I wasn't paying attention to the signs. I was just kind of playing, And then I finally said, okay, I give up. Not going to win at this rate. And then I went out to have some dinner, got out of that space of doing and just kind of let myself flow. I said, I'm not going to worry about anything, I'm not going to be all competitive and have to play to win. Just going to play, play to play. And when I passed that table, I was given the opportunity to pass up the table or to take action. And I had an inspired action, and I took action, and I was really happy I did. It was a very powerful evening. It feels really cool to win a lot of money. Not because you're winning a lot of money, but because you're in a flow. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about winning money, like winning big time money, like in Vegas, because it's not the first time that it's happened. But when you're in the flow, it's not about the money that you're receiving. It's about the amount of energy that's coming in and how it feels to be on the receiving end of this tremendous abundance. It's really powerful. It's different. And actually, I can't go into it now because this is already a long enough video. So I think I better sign off. So, friends, September 20th and September 27th, I'm going to be having my Intuition Boot Camp. I invite you to join me. It's going to be a 3-hour class on both Sundays. So 3 hours on the first Sunday, the 20th, and 3 hours on the 27th. And it'll be a lot of information about how to use your intuition, how to build your intuition, how to clear out all the junk that's blocking your intuition, how to feel your feelings, how to speak your truth. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to pack into those 2 days. So I really hope that you can join me. And I think that's it for now. So Crystalline Bell here, your personal empowerment coach. And you can find me at www.crystallinebell.com. All right, my friends, bye for now.